Hi, I'm Claudia Birdsall, and this is going to be a quick tutorial about tuning your student's violin. So the first thing that you need is a tuner. You can use an actual physical tuner, and I will have a separate PDF with links to all of these products, but I'm just going to describe them briefly. You can have an actual physical tuner like this that shows you the notes, or you can get a tuner on your phone or tablet. This tuner is the one I recommend if you're going to use it or have your students use it. It's made by Snark. If you're going to buy this tuner, make sure you buy one with an internal microphone. Some of these tuners are built so that they have to be clipped onto the instrument. They only feel vibrations, they don't hear the sound. So if you're going to get a physical tuner, make sure you get one that has a built-in microphone in it. Again, I will list these products in a separate sheet. So the first thing you need is a tuner, and I like the tuners that just have, as you can see on this one, a simple meter that goes up and down, higher, lower. And there's a green or some kind of color-coded bar in the middle that tells you you've hit the right note. So I'm aiming to hit that little green bar in the middle there. So it's very simple. It tells you the name of the note, and it tells you if you're too high or too low, and then you adjust towards the middle there. There are other kinds of tuners, but I think these are the simplest ones to read, and there are very similar ones for your tablet or your phone. So I'm going to try to use this one as we go along today, because my tuner's been used so long, the little clothespin clip on it is actually broken off, although I am still using the tuner. Okay, so the second thing is, I suggest if you can actually bow the strings, you're going to get a more accurate reading on the tuner than if you just pluck the strings. Plucking will read on your tuner and you will get close, but if you can have if your child is old enough to help, you can have the child bow on the violin, hold the violin like normal, and bow on the strings, and you can make the adjustments. If that's not going to work very well because your child is young or isn't interested in helping you, then I suggest that you're going to lay the violin in your lap like this in front of you. I put the sponge or the shoulder rest on because it gives you a little extra stickiness, and I tell people always do this over a rug or even do it sitting on the floor. So because sometimes things do slip out of your hands and you don't want it shooting off and hitting the hard floor. So on your lap, secure, and or sitting on the floor. So we are also going to start tuning from the highest string, working down. A professional would start with the second string, but we're just going to work our way down from the top to the bottom. And your strings on your tuner will be numbered E. The highest one is E4. I'm sorry, E5. The A string is numbered A4. The next string is D4. And the bottom string is G3. All the numbers refer to is they count on it's related to the piano keyboard and which set of notes, how high you are on the piano keyboard. So A1 would be the lowest A you could play on the piano, A2 is higher, etc. So the number is just making sure you're in the correct range and not tuning to an A that is too high or an A that is too low. This will be on the handout also. So I'm going to open my tuner here. This is called, the one I use on the iPad is called Tuner Lite, L-I-T-E, and this is the free version. So we are going to start by working with the tuners on that'll be at the bottom of the violin. These are called the fine tuners or just the tuners. They will either be, on most student violins you're going to have these, and they will either be built into the tailpiece or they will be in this space between the tailpiece and the bridge here. And they're going to just have a little dial, a little knob that you can twist on each one. If you turn to the right, it's the same rule as everything, righty-tighty, and that makes the note higher. Lefty-loosey makes the note lower. So we're going to start with those. If you play on the tuner and the correct letter is coming up on your tuner, you can probably do any tuning you need to do with the fine tuners. If a completely different letter comes up on the tuner, you're probably going to have to use the pegs, and we'll do that next. So let's assume that we're going to be close. I'm actually going to make mine slightly out of tune, so we have to adjust here. So I'm going to start by bowing. It doesn't matter how you hold the bow, just hold it and bow on your highest string, your E string. And on your tuner, on this particular tuner, you have to hit the little pitchfork to make the meter come on. So I'm going to bow on that high string. So it's telling me it's an E, and I'm getting a green light, but it's not quite in the middle. It's showing a little bit high. So I'm going to loosen my E tuner just very slightly, make very small motions in the beginning. That's closer. I'm getting a green light, but it's still a little high, so I'm going to loosen it again. There, we are very close to the middle mark. I overshot a little. There we go. So I made that adjustment just by moving the fine tuner on the E string. Now I can switch to A. I don't have to change anything here, and it will tell me what note I'm playing and whether it's too high or too low. So the A is actually very close. I'm getting a green light. You could probably just stop if you're getting a green light, but it is slightly low. So I'm just going to tighten it a tiny bit. There. So I'm hitting right on the middle there and getting the green light. So I'm going to try my D. I'm getting a slight red light there, and it's a little low. So I'm going to tighten the D tuner, righty-tighty. If you overshoot a little, it doesn't matter. You can just go back. Still too low. I'm tightening that D tuner. There we go. Right in the middle. Let's check the G. I might have to move the violin slightly to get to the G string. And the G is really right on the middle, and I'm getting a green light on that. So, if it was that simple, then you're done with the tuning. If you're bowing and you're not even coming up with the correct letter, then you are going to have to probably go to the pegs. So let's talk quickly through the pegs. The pegs, you're going to again hold the violin on your lap. So if you twist the peg away from you, it's still righty-tighty on the right side of the instrument. If you twist the peg away from you, you're going higher. You're tightening the string and going higher. If you twist the ones on the right side towards you, you're going lower. You're loosening the string and going lower. It actually, on this one, you're still going to think about turning over and away from you is going to make it go higher, tighter and higher. Towards you is going to make it go lower. So think over and away is higher. Towards you and down is lower. So I'm going to make one of these pegs go off. I have one peg that isn't great here, and I don't want to mess with it. Okay, so let's say my G is way off. It's showing an F, not a G. Here, I think it's okay to go ahead and pluck to get close, because it takes a lot of time to go back and forth. So plucking is telling me that I'm on an F, not a G. So I'm going to need to go higher to get from F to G. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to have to turn with my left hand, and I'm going to brace with my right hand, and I'm not going to be afraid to, as I turn, to push the peg into the peg box. It should fit, it should be nice and tight, but sometimes if you turn the peg, it will just come completely loose. And so you have to put a little bit of tension on it as you turn it. These are actually special kind of pegs that don't need that, but I'm going to simulate it. So I'm going to make the smallest turn I can to make it go higher. If it feels really sticky and you feel like you simply can't get it to move, or it's going to really shoot up if you move it, then my suggestion is actually loosen it a little first to get control of it. then you can start inching it higher. You're going to make a very, very small motion to make this peg go higher. So I'm pushing, I'm going to just turn a little, and then I'm going to pluck. I've gone up to an F sharp, but I'm still not near a G, so I'm going to turn again, pluck, a little higher but not there yet. I'm going up. I'm close. I'm just about to a G, but I'm going to go, I can see my tuner is a little tight, so I'm going to go a little further. It's okay if you overshoot a little. So I'm about right on, but I'm actually going to overshoot deliberately for the sake of demonstration. So I'm going, I'm sorry, that's my printer doing maintenance there. Okay, I've gone to an A flat too far, so I'm going to have to push and make a tiny, tiny adjustment down. More. Okay, I'm in the neighborhood now, so I'm going to go back to my bow and do the final adjustment. It's too high, so I'm going to loosen my tuner. And we're pretty close. There you go. Do not be afraid to push in on those pegs as you turn them. Make the smallest adjustments that you can make as you go along. It's very easy, especially on small violins, to overshoot. Do not be afraid to do this. I've never seen anyone break a peg tuning. Worst case, if you actually go way too tight and you break a string, strings are not that expensive. The E string is the most likely one that you're going to break because it's very tight, and E strings are a few dollars. Even an A, a D, or a G string on most student instruments are only going to cost a few dollars. So it's really not a tragedy if you were to break a string. So start by using the fine tuners. If you have to, work your way to the pegs. If you do tune a string with the pegs, go back and check the other strings, because whenever you move one of the pegs, it changes things in the peg box and it will likely knock your other strings slightly out of tune again. So if you use one of these, get that one in tune and then go back and check the other strings. 9 times out of 10, all you're going to have to do is use these and make very small adjustments. Do count on tuning your violin every day or nearly every day. And I always tell my students, if you have a problem in between lessons and it's something that it gets out of tune and you can't fix it, text me or call me or email me, and don't wait until your next lesson. I'm happy to coach you over the phone or on FaceTime or a Zoom meeting to get you back in tune. So there will be a handout that goes along with this that tells you about the tuners and lists the basic steps that we did on this video, and I hope it was helpful.